Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Literary Warriors Group new program, which is Tell Me a Tale. We have seen an earlier episode of this when we had our participants telling us stories, and this is the second episode. We have got a new set of participants this time. Let me introduce all of them to you. First, who we have is Dr. Koyal Biswas. Dr. Koyal, where are you? Here you are. There you are. Yeah. So first we have Dr. Koyal Biswas from Bangalore, and next we will have is Arpita Ghoshi, who is from Mumbai, and then we have got Dr. Maitreyee Joshi, who is from Pune or Pune, as I should be calling it, and then Somdatta Mitraji, who is from Kolkata, and finally, Meera Bhansali, who's also from Mumbai. Where are you, Meera? There you are, hiding. So we have got five good new participants today, and all of them are experienced writers. All of them write frequently. You have seen them also on our shows with poetry and whatnots, and they have been members for long. So let's not get too much into spend too much time into introducing everybody. Just welcome everybody, and thanks to Neelam Saxena on for providing us with this platform, and we are telecasting this on her platform on the Neelam Saxena page on Facebook. And may I request Meera to just share the links to the group so that everybody can look at them. So let's get started. And we have got our opening batsman today, Dr. Koyal Biswas, who's from Bangalore, as I said, and she'll be presenting a story which she herself doesn't know because she just finished writing it 2 minutes back. So, Koyal, welcome. Here you are.
Thank you, Anupji. Good evening, viewers, and it's a great thing to be back again on Neelamji's page. And as rightly said by Anupji, Neelamji has always made us warriors. Okay, we are given the topic and then we create. So here is a story. Of course, I wrote it half an hour back, but the plot was going on since a month, and it's a real story. So, without without wasting time, let me get into the story. The title of the story is Destiny Brought Them Together. This is a story of a couple whom I met a few months back. She is a cancer survivor, and he is her 24 bar 7 nurse, partner, friend, and much more words can define. She is a retired professor in English literature, aged around 65, and he is an oncologist, aged around 45. When Sarah was in her early 50s, she was divorced from her first marriage. The relationship was so toxic that often Sarah thought to herself, is it all that love is about? Can't it be defined in a better way? A mother of two teenage boys, Sarah felt a deep sense of loneliness even before hitting her menopause. It was during those last few months when Sarah's marriage was awaiting a legal decision and she was dwindling between the two worlds, one which gave her nothing and the other which about which she knew nothing. Either way, my life oscillates in the dark. How does it matter to me? Sarah thought to herself. The case was mutually settled, and Sarah brought the boys home. It was decided the biological father would fund for the elder son's education, and Sarah will meet the expenses of the younger child. Life was beginning to settle, is what Sarah thought. Within a couple of months, she found some abnormality in her digestion pattern. When diagnosed, the doctors confirmed she was in her stage 2 colon cancer. Sarah was devastated, but at the same time, she knew that she's a fighter. She has mastered the skill of living life beautifully. She was admitted for the surgery after a prolonged counseling by the oncologist. It's a small surgery, Sarah, and you will be fine. An unknown yet firm voice spoke from behind. as she was pushed in her stretcher towards the operation theatre. She saw a young man smiling at her and wishing her good luck. She didn't know who he was, but it felt that she had known him since ages. How are you feeling, Sarah? The same voice rang into her ears as she tried opening her eyes. Sarah found herself lying in the recovery room. Sarah looked at him and asked, "Is the surgery done?" He nodded with a smile. Sarah could not remember anything after that except that his hands were busy checking her pulse and measuring BP. The next day, when Sarah woke up in the morning, the young man walked into the room with a group of doctors. He was the youngest oncologist in the team. Looking at Sarah, he smiled and winked at her amicably, throwing a gesture of a great battle won. Days passed, and Sarah began to slowly witness the changes in her body. The chemotherapy sessions often made her weak, but Dr. Sam made sure to read her books during those hours of struggle and pain. 6 months passed, and Sarah was declared cancer free. But she was weak and needed both physical and emotional support. During these months, Sam asked her about her family who could help her, and Sarah never hesitated to say that she has nobody to take care. The boys were sent to their boarding schools so that they are not distracted with their parents' separation. Sarah was living alone in an apartment in Mumbai. It was Sarah's 55th birthday when Sam gave her a surprise visit at her residence. Sarah was not prepared for this sudden visit, but she felt very comfortable in his presence. A strange feeling of fulfillment ran across her nerves, but she knew it is not possible. Sam had a book in his hand, the birthday present. He wished her gently and sat beside her. He said, "Sarah, I know this is weird, but I think I've fallen in love with you." Sarah was not ready for this at all. There was a huge gap between them, a gap which no society would ever allow to bridge. She said firmly, "Thank you, doctor. I think you must leave now." As Sam was leaving, he gave the same smile and this time held her hands tight, so tight to never let go. "I knew it was weird, Sarah, but love is not all about red roses. There are thorns attached to it as well. Give yourself a second chance in life. Trust me, love has in it all the shades of pink." After Sam left, Sarah opened the book and found a letter inside. It read, "Dear Sarah, don't go with the numbers of your age. Go with the beautiful memories you have created. Did you did you any in these 20 years? Did you create any in this 20 years? If you can't think of any, then let's create together. My life is equally challenged and even my days are numbered. So how does it matter who will leave before or after? And if we could not live one life well, then it is the biggest injustice to our soul. Let's begin a new journey together unconditionally." It's been 10 years now that they are together as live-in partners, sharing, caring, and loving each other. They live in a beautiful home in Bangalore with plenty of herbal plants, some amateur paintings, and books of all kinds. Sarah is writing for children now, and Sam still continues to be a doctor. It is not the end of this fairy tale, but yes, they do live happily here. Thank you so much. This is based on a real story.
Lovely, lovely. Very
Thank
touching
you.
story, Koyal.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Koyal. This was
Very
good. This was
nice.
really nice, touching, as Maitreyee just said. And we have already got quite a few guests here. We have got Neelam, who's herself joined in. She's saying nice rendition, Koyal. We have got Purna and
Thank you.
Gayatri Joshi. You got Meera, who's sitting here and commenting all this at the same time, which is something she does quite frequently. And she says it's a beautiful story. Purna says it's a sweet story. So that's good inputs we are getting. Thank you, everyone, for encouraging us. And what we have now is the next participant, who is going to be Arpita Ghosh from Mumbai. Arpita ji, you are welcome. Please come and take this forward.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening to everyone. And here it is all about telling a tale. And kahin na kahin pe, the moment you think about telling a tale, love stories definitely top the list. So I too am going to be telling a tale of love. And as we all know, that love has, love is a many splendid thing, and there are so many facets to love. Love is mysterious. So this is a love story of Maya and Neil. Neil, a young entrepreneur, and his idea of being an entrepreneur was again inspired with his interactions with Maya. Maya, his love, Maya, his wife, Maya, his life. In fact, every time he looked at Maya, he would just get lost in the depth of her black eyes. He would always love to be in the warmth of her embrace, where his fingers were always lost going through her black, lustrous hair. The love of Maya and Neil was envied by many amongst their friends, their social circle. Everybody in the family would say, "Wow, look at this couple. They look so good together. Kahin kisi ki nazar na lag jaye." And that love only kept getting stronger and stronger day by day. One fine day, they were just taking a stroll, as usual after dinner, a nice walk they went for, talking to each other about the long memories that they have cherished together, how they kept going, sorry about that, how they would fight with each other and then again make up to each other. And without realizing, suddenly, in full speed, there was a car which was coming from front and it just crashed straight into both of them, separating both on either side of the road. When Maya gained consciousness, she was in the hospital. When Neil gained consciousness, he found him also in the hospital. And the first thing that he asked was, "Where is Maya?" And then he realized that he was not able to move his legs. And Maya, on the other hand, the glass pieces had gone all into her face. There were splinters of glass on her face, on her arms. And the doctor said that she would have to go through plastic surgery, many of the surgeries. And as for Neil, it would take a lot of physiotherapy to get back on his feet. But Neil just requested one thing: can both of us be in the same room? We are each other's strength. That was allowed. And they did give each other all the strength. And once they came back home, Neil found himself looking at Maya and just wondering, that face, that beautiful face, was so scarred now. But the look in her eyes, where he would always get lost, where he found all his answers, where he got the strength to live, was very much there. And that gave him the courage to get back on his 2 feet, to get back to his business and his life. But one evening, when he came back and he was having his cup of tea, which very lovingly was made by Maya, he told Maya, I have something to say. So Maya asked him, what is it? That even I do feel that somewhere there is something that you wish to say. Please feel free to say. We've never had anything hidden amongst us. Sunil told her very openly that the love is there, everything is there, but what I realize now, it takes a lot of courage in me to look at your face. He said, much as I just love that beauty, I am now beginning to accept this beauty along with the scars. And today I realized that love is just not about the beauty which we can see, but love is beyond. Love is skin deep. And they embraced each other again for that's it. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Arpita ji. That was
beautiful,
great.
so
Nice.
beautiful.
Very sensitively narrated, Arpita ji. Really enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yes, and Meera is again commenting. She doesn't say anything here, but she's commenting heart wrenching and beautiful at the same time.
It's definitely very
So,
heart touching. It's definitely very
yeah,
heart touching.
definitely.
Very
Agree,
emotional
agree.
story.
Very emotional, good. And as Purna said earlier, velvety voice, soothing to hear, Arpita. So, some nice comments we have been having. And now let's move on to our next participant. That is Dr. Maitreyee Joshi from Pune. Maitreyee, where are you? There you are. Come on.
Hello, everyone, and it is wonderful. This concept of telling a story, I am really excited about it. And each time, every session, I am also, as a listener, enjoying this. So, thanks to Anupji and thanks to Neelam. So, let me begin my story. The name of the story is Praise. Aarti's car screeched to a halt at the gate of a college, beyond which four-wheelers were not allowed. She was about to alight from the car when Parag came running from nowhere and held her hand to help her get down. He said, "Hey Art, if you wanna attend the chemistry lecture, I will attend with you." Aarti smiled and asked, "And if I don't?" Parag shot back, "I will attend whatever you attend." Aarti said, "And if I don't want to attend anything then?" Parag answered, "Then I won't attend anything too." By now, both of them had started walking towards the gate. Aarti persisted, "But your studies will suffer. Aren't you worried?" Parag replied, "Nah." All this conversation was a routine with Parag. Aarti tolerated him because he was funny and kept her entertained. Her father was a car dealer for BMW, and Aarti did not know how not to be rich. She walked with Parag, half listening to his meaningless blabber. Her cinnamon hair, which fell into soft curls over her shoulders, glowed and were gently nudged by the breeze. Her flowery red and green summer dress complemented her curves. They took their final steps to climb up the college corridor and entered the chemistry class. Guys in a class tried to catch a glimpse of Aarti off and on, and the chemistry lecturer nodded from side to side. Aarti's forehead creased, her brown eyes showed vague and deep sadness. She tried hard to concentrate, but her thoughts wandered to the past. Is being born with beauty in the hands of a person? This was the millionth time that she had repeated it in her head. What is the fault of the person? Why are they at the receiving end of all the heinous crime? It happened that when she was in seventh grade and they were having a housewarming at their new bungalow, all their friends and extended family had gathered. Her father's friend from childhood was a famous actor, and he was also there. It was just dreamlike to see the actor who they had only seen on the screen and in the movies to be invited to their house. When Narendra Kumar sensed her fangirl demeanor, he started talking to her about this movie and that, and Aarti listened without batting an eyelid. After the housewarming, he took her to the servants' quarters, which was not yet occupied, casually talking to her. The moment they stepped inside the outhouse, he pulled her close. His words still often rang in her ears. "You are so beautiful, so beautiful." Aarti was so scared that she screamed and ran to her house. She tried to tell this to her mother. Her mother understood and held her close and soothed her, but nothing other than that. Narendra Kumar was a famous actor, and everybody in the family, including her father, was afraid of the media coverage. Since that time, Aarti had kept away from most of her schoolmates. She had grown reserved and kept to herself. Her pastime was reading books and keeping herself busy in her studies. Beautiful was a word that she never ever wanted to hear. It was her destiny that Aarti was more beautiful than she was rich, and her elite background did full justice to her beauty. Her thoughts came and rested on an incident when she had slapped Anne, the boy who fell on his knees and proposed to her on the day of the prize distribution of their 10th grade results when she had stood second. He had stood first and had called her the most beautiful girl in the world, and her slap before she realized what she was doing was enough for her to gain the label of a beautiful, creepy girl. Aarti was yanked back to the present as the chemistry class got over. She started walking fast to the library because she wanted to get the copy of the long petal of the sea before anyone else did. Parag was trying to catch up with her, asking her out of breath where she was rushing so fast. Just then she banged someone hard and they both fell down with their respective books under their arms. For a split second, their heads swooned, and when they looked around themselves, they were both sitting with books all around them. They sorted out which ones belonged to whom, and as they stood up, Arin raised his eyebrows to ask, "Who in the wide world are you?" A smile came across Aarti's face, and she asked, "Looks like we have a book lover there." Arin grinned and answered, "Oh, yes, may I say the same thing?" They both laughed, and while Parag stood watching them, they walked to the library. They spoke about their mutual love for books, their favorite authors, and their favorite poetry. They both laughed, and while Parag stood watching them, sorry, they started meeting almost every day. From books, they shifted to their favorite music and then travel. Their conversations seemed endless. Aarti was amused that both of them enjoyed each other's jokes and often laughed until their stomachs ached. These 3 months passed in a jiffy, but Aarti still waited for something as if with bated breath. It was her own internal test. Arin was not from a rich family, didn't wear fancy clothes, nor had a top end phone or a bike. Aarti had learned to travel by bus with him. Around 3 months had passed, and mustering her courage when they were sitting in a bus, Aarti asked Arin the most important question. He answered without any hesitation. Hearing him, Aarti's tears came rolling down. They went on for 10 minutes when Arin soothed her and held her close. When they alighted from the bus, the cloudy sky had turned azure blue as they looked up. When they entered the college, as usual, Parag came from nowhere and stood in front of them. He looked at them turn by turn and asked Aarti, "What about him that you never found in any of us? He's hardly cool." Aarti replied with a content smile on her face, "He likes my knowledge about books, my love for poetry, my being good with numbers, but he has never called me beautiful." They walked ahead of Parag. They knew they were going to walk together for many years because they seek beauty in who they were instead of how they appeared. Thank you. So, this was my story. Praise.
Beautiful. Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely.
I felt like
Amazing.
walking with the
Thank you.
characters in that same college and witness that scenes and the conversations going on between them. I could
Yeah,
paint it in
thank
my own
you.
canvas.
Actually,
Thank
you
you.
could actually see being an actor
You could
right in front of
visualize. Yes.
you.
Exactly,
Amazing.
exactly.
Thank you so much.
So, friends, how have you been enjoying this show? I hope it's been interesting for
Totally.
you as well as been for all of us here. And Purna has come up with a good comment, which is really heartwarming for me. It says, "This is soon going to be my favorite program, fantastically curated." Thank you, Purna. And then Neelam adds that little bit after that. She says, "I agree with Purna. I too am a fan. Yay, my day is done." Absolutely great. Thank you, everybody. This is the lovely thing to see. And Purna has made a request. She wants to hear a horror tale, but she will have to wait because next one we have here is Somdatta Mitra from Kolkata. And just in case you are all wondering, the topic for today's tales has been romance. So everybody is writing romance, and that horror, whether that horror combines with romance or no, or is romance itself a horror, that we leave it to Meera when she comes, because as you probably know, she is a horror specialist. But right now, over to Somdatta ji from Kolkata. Somdatta ji, welcome on the stage. You are here. Please start with your story.
Thank you so much, Anupji. And there is a kind of thrill, quite evident from the stories I have been hearing from my partners present here, and that has been generating a lot of excitement as well. So, with a new exuberance, I am going to thank Neelam Saxena ji for giving me this opportunity to join this bandwagon of storytellers today in this session. And the subject that I have been following over romance, I have given the title of my story as Kashmir
काय
Ties.
करू फोनवर उघडू का
The desiccated coconuts, all laid in the corner of a street on a row where the buyers pushed each other to make a place for enjoying coconut water with a straw. In the evening, the temples were adorned with beautiful lamps and lights to welcome disciples. Every rickshaw pullers would gleefully cheer the passengers from the railway station to escort them to their destinations. The city of joy, Kolkata, illuminates with vibrant lights on the Howrah Bridge that enthralls all in a spectacular amusement. Standing in the corner of a cart, a vendor named Ratan was selling t shirts, hollering for 10 minutes to attract the passers by. Eventually received a young lady of 28 years wearing a cotton khadi sari with a silver neckpiece and silver bangles, murmuring a Tagore song, Amaru Porano Jaha Chai, Tumi Tai Go, which means, you are the one that my heart wishes for, and in this world, apart from you, I have no one whom I wish for. As she came near, the fascination to admire her innocent gestures perhaps perplexed the vendor. She bought 3 t-shirts, each for 200 rupees, and disappeared in a taxi. Her fragrance continued to attract the young, romantic, vivacious poor man. Never in his life he felt such a jerk just by a glance. How adventurously he ran after the taxi to return the lady's handkerchief. Something was perhaps subconsciously bothering him. It felt as if the vision perversed to a dark, unclear, gloomy, and sentient hunch. A few years later, the poor vendor had developed himself into a dicey agent whose frantic assistants would often bellow for depriving them of a proper legal home to stay. In the dingy lanes of Park Circus, Kolkata, they had a respite where several eunuchs had been living in a slum for years. Ratan was engaged in a tourism group, whereby he was responsible to guide many tourists to Kashmir. He took the initiative as a tour agent, from booking hotels to engaging them with vehicles, food, and management. In Gulmarg, during March 2025, it was chilling winter. Snow capped peaks would blend apprehensions into a divulging enigma. In between the journey, the tire punctured of their bus, which comprised of 20 passengers. A beautiful Kashmiri maiden, as a peddler, stepped inside the bus selling shawls. She requested the passengers to buy beautiful hand embroidered shawls from her. Her bright blue eyes sparkled like diamonds, and her mysterious smile would envelop anyone into madness. She wore a firan, a traditional Kashmiri attire, with a headgear and some bangles that steered others' attraction towards her. Ratan bought one beautiful shawl with a lot of flowers embossed on it, while his heart palpitated to speak something as he was enamored over her charm. He asked her, "What's your name, young lady?" What a kind of hesitant smile! She replied, "Danin," and she fled instantly, counting the notes she received from 2 other passengers. Perhaps she blushed out of an intriguing predilection. His suppressed thoughts about that girl continued to bother him. He was not able to concentrate in the trip. He couldn't sleep that entire night, gazing at the silvery firmament. All sorts of aspirations seemed to gallop over his floating fantasy. He was infatuated with this charismatic damsel. While guiding the tourist over shopping destinations the next day near Pahalgam, he was astonished to see the same lady in one shawl emporium. Over a research, Ratan explored that the owner of that emporium was her elder brother Owais, and that Danin helped her brother apart from pursuing her journalism from Central University of Kashmir. They both had an eye gaze, and instantly their expressions ascended to a strong fixation for each other. But it was so unusual that they didn't exchange any contact numbers and through didn't chat with each other. It was like destiny brought them in different colors of life. Their romance was somewhat in a silent admiration through a presence. They often met in some corner of an eatery and indulged in some amour, while Ratan maintained his professional responsibilities. On a Friday afternoon in December 2024, they met in the Nishad Garden in Srinagar. Danin went there with her college mates, and Ratan was escorting his tourist to enjoy the serenity. While clicking pictures over the request of the tourist, his eyes traced Danin, and an instant electrifying sensation gripped his nerves as if a bomb has exploded in his desires to hold her close to his arms. That enigma and restlessness cannot be explained in words. He called her, Danin, I am here. How come you are here? To which Danin replied, I came here to spend some time with my classmates. And there he took hold of her hand with a gentle smile, with a flush of exuberance, rinsing his silent gestures. Danin was flabbergasted, as no one before this had ever gazed her like this. This was a spiritual union, she thought, a union that perhaps every girl of her age dreams, and one fine day, not being able to express their choices, they are married to an unknown family where they are strangers. She decided she will be an exception to this. Thank you so much. I conclude here my story.
So beautiful, my God,
Thank
so
you.
nice.
Beautiful.
Love
And
it.
Thank you.
absolutely. And as Purna is saying here, enjoying every minute, Meera says, wow, love story in heaven on earth. So she's, of course, referring to Kashmir. Lovely story, Somdatta, lovely, absolutely. And
Thank you so
before
much.
we go ahead, let me just start with a small, what shall I say, mm, commercial advertising or a commercial break. Let's take a small commercial break. Actually, it's not so much a commercial because all I want to say is that LWG, we have been here since quite some time. We were formed in 2011. Last 3 years, we have been holding regularly. We have been having a literature festival, a lit fest. The first one was in Delhi in 2023. Then 2024, we had another one in Pune. And now in 2025, October 4th and 5th, I think, I don't remember, we will be having yet another Lit Fest, our third, what we call Bhasha and Beyond 3.0, Lit Fest 3.0. So mark your calendar, book the dates, make your travel arrangements, and be prepared to come over and meet all of us at Pune for our Lit Fest of the LWG Lit Fest 3.0 in Pune, 2025 October, first week. So that's it for the commercial advertisement, and just for the sake of it, Bhasha and Beyond LWG Lit Fest 3.0. This is where we are, and we hope to be seeing all of you here. And now let's get back to our storytelling session. We have got almost through our list of participants today. The last is our horror specialist, Meera. Meera writes mostly horror. She's really good at it, and I don't know what she's going to be saying today. But if we go by what Purna was saying, yes, let's hope she gets with something good related to horror.
Okay, so the previous story was, in heaven. Now this story is definitely in hell. Uh, I mean, it's a romantic story, and since I'm a horror gothic writer, I had to, keep the setting as hell, and my characters are obviously demons. So this is, the title is also The Lover's Hell. Love was in the air. The sweet smell of the wet mud, the intoxicating cool breeze, as the raindrops touched her soft, supple skin. She flourished in the first rain, and her bosom filled with love. She yearned for a lover who would take her in his strong arms and show her the world of gratifying love. But that was all a distant dream. Soon the rain was devoured by the fires of hell, and the scorching heat burned her skin. Belatu was left once again in the place where she was born, in the dungeons of hell, all alone. But in her heart, she knew that her true love would come riding on a stallion black and take her away from this literal hell ruled by Satan. Belatu silently worked and managed the souls, punishing them, sending them to different designated doors of doom, and she did that with equal passion. The devil, the evil in her, wouldn't leave her alone. The goodness in her heart vanished with the rain. He ogled at her like the devil he was, waiting to tarnish her in his raw desire of her body. Her voluptuous, wet body, feeling the cold rain, made him yearn for her more. He wanted to fill her in his arms and crush her delicate curves so that she may willingly surrender to him. He wanted to give her all the wild pleasures, the greed, the sins, the rotten souls of hell to toy with, or the jewels of the underworld to adorn. But Dagon knew that she was no ordinary. She was the product of raw lust and deceit of one of the fallen angels and a cursed human woman. Her human side was easy to please, but the devil in her had the powers abound. No devil dared to cross her or make her angry. She wielded the scythe like an ornament inseparable from her body. She was strong enough to reap even the devils and abandon them to the deepest layers of the underworld. He had to appeal and please her human side, which rarely came up, and only then would he tame the hell cat within her. Dagon knew her weakness. She loved the rain, and the water pleased her. Water failed to exist in the hell, and the way it amply did on earth. Luckily, he was the fallen angel of the deep, dark sea, and he knew how to conjure water from nowhere. But yet, with all his powers and might, getting and relishing water within the perimeter of hell was near to impossible. He knew he would have to break all bounds and do something extraordinary. Halloween was approaching, and he knew the devils would roam earth and hell would be practically empty, save for a few old devils who no longer uh, wished to scare humans or play games with them. They were happy in the scorching warmth of hell and relished in their personal pain. It was on that day he decided to woo her and make her human side fall for him. The night arrived soon. Belatu had just finished instructing the young devils the do's and don'ts on earth and was clocking her work when Dagon, dressed in his best hellish clothes and groomed all proper for her, appeared before her. His sudden appearance put her instantly into the combat mode and she lunged at him with a scythe. But Dagon too was quick enough and ducked her blow, and he caught her hand midair. Dazed by his quickness, she stopped and glared at him, and it suddenly registered to her that he was one of the most ill reputed devils of the old world. She stepped back, unsure of what was one of the prestigious devils doing in these lowly parts of hell. She dared to look at him, and the human girl in her saw the handsome man that stood before her. He was dressed in his finest and had an air of mist around him. He smelled like the mud after the first rain. Belatu's head swooned and her dead heart fluttered, almost as if it was still beating. Dagon sensed this and thought that this was the perfect time since he had evoked her human, and now could easily tempt her in his lust. He put his lusty lips on her plain blood-red lips and mesmerized her by his charms. She too drenched in his desire and gave him back the wet kiss that he had yearned and dreamt for so long. He swiped her off her feet and took her to his majestic chambers as the captivating cloud followed them, keeping them saturated in the captivity of each other. She was finally not alone. She didn't care that she was still in the ethos of hell, and the evil sleeping beside her was one of the worst demons. She wanted him as much he wanted her. Together she knew hell would be the best place. He woke up in her arms. He looked at her sleeping peacefully, her humanity diminishing, but her beauty, her grace, her thirst, her lust stood strong. And now she would sit beside him and rule the ancient lands of hell and create a special hell for lovers who were thrown apart. It would be lovers' hell, wherein all their rawness lovers could relish each other in the warmth of the hellfire and toast the souls of those who had tormented their lives and tried to separate them. It would be their kingdom, their lovers' hell. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Lovely.
Oh
And
my God.
the way she builds the
This
world
was
also, the world
good.
building is so good.
Yeah, this was good.
So creative. My
Beautiful
God.
story.
Yeah, this is very creative,
Amazing.
very good. Meera, that's
Awesome.
great. And I hope, Puna, where are you?
That's
I hope
Meera. That's Meera.
Thank you.
this
Yeah, that
is
is how I put horror and romance together.
Yes.
so. So, thank you, Meera. This was a lovely one. And we have a comment. Puna is, of course, saying, Farmaish fulfilled. Super duper. That's it, Meera. That's great. That's really nice. Good, good, good story. And now, as we come to the end of our program, last time I was requested that I too should read out some stories. I wouldn't be doing that each and every time, but today I will, inspired partly by Meera, partly by the topic that that is romance. And just for information, this story is actually 14 years old. It was written way back in 2011, which I have changed slightly recently, but not much. The title here is Till Death Do Us Apart. Till death do us apart. It was the lighted candle that persuaded me. They told me of an apparition that appeared in the tall towers of the haunted house at midnight, carrying a lighted candle. They would never have recognized a ghost if it stood right next to them. But the lighted candle, that was too typical of a filmy setup. I just had to see it. Hence, as the sun set beyond the big dome of the palace, I made my way inside. It's always easier to get in through the gates before dusk than over the walls after dark. It was a new moon night. If there was someone to see, it would be tonight. It was nearly midnight when I saw her on the spiral stairs of the towers. In the blink of an eye and the whiff of a breath, I was next to her, holding her hand, preventing her from escaping. Dropping the candle, she turned to look at me, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She was the one, the only one for me. a beauty whom I could love forever and ever. She laughed nervously. For a moment, you scared me. You caught me in my act. I am paid to do this act every now and then to attract curious tourists to this palace. I suppose you are disappointed I am not a ghost. Disappointed? Not at all. I always knew you were not a ghost, I said. I smiled wistfully as I thought of the distant past. You are not a ghost. You are my love, my first love, my only love. You are the one whom I have ever loved. You are the only one whom I have ever loved. You are the one whom I shall love forever. She giggled at this and then continued teasingly. My, you have fallen in love at first sight, it seems. You have met me for the first time just now, and already you are speaking of loving me forever. Why? Next, you will be saying, you want to stay with me till death do us apart? Ah, I did fall in love with you at first sight, but we have met earlier, though you naturally cannot remember it. I shall love you forever, and death shall not do us apart. She seemed to get a bit wary. What do you mean? When did we meet? Why don't I remember meeting you? She asked. I mean exactly what I said. We met a long time ago, a very long time ago. You don't remember me because you can't. No living being can remember the past, but we can. And that's why I can say with confidence, death shall not do us apart. Not this time. Thank you. Thank you
Yay,
very much.
Anup bhaiya.
Oh,
I too love you.
So wonderful.
Lovely.
It
Yeah,
was
very
beautiful.
nice.
so
Lovely story.
nice.
Really nice.
Thank you very much. And this is as a program today. We are right at the end of our program, and just once more reminding everyone here that we have a literary festival coming up in October. We have got a number of contests which have already started taking the participation entries. So please get in touch with any one of the admins. Come over, participate, be a part of a program, be a part of our Lit Fest. See you in October 25. And now, with that announcement, let me come back to the program. We are at the end. Meera is saying beautiful and superb, Anup Bhaiya. Thank you, Meera, very much. And thanks to Neelam Saxena for this platform which we have. Thanks to all of you guests here who are continuously seeing our program and encouraging us. Thank you to all the participants who have come here and enchanted us with beautiful stories. As you know, we are trying to make this into a monthly feature where we have one English storytelling session once a month and another Hindi storytelling session again after 15 days. So hopefully we'll see you again next time there's a program like this. And in the meantime, we continue with all our other programs. So be in touch, come over, have a look, do join us and keep encouraging us like this. Thank you everyone and good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
Thank
much.
you,
you.
Anup ji.
Bye bye.
Bye.